Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com. Today we're going to make a yogurt cake, and this is what it looks like. This cake is so soft and moist and very flavorful, and what's great is it's so easy to make. So the first thing you will need to do is to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 180 degrees Celsius. And then you will need an 8-inch, that's 20 centimeter springform pan. If you don't have a springform pan, you could just use a regular cake pan. But a springform pan comes 2 pieces, so it's really easy to remove our cake from the pan. And then you can either butter it, lightly oil, or I'm just going to spray with one of these non-stick sprays. And then I like to line the bottom of the pan with just a round of parchment paper. Okay, like I said, this is so easy. No mixer. We just need 2 bowls, one for the wet ingredients, one for the dry. We mix them together and we're done. So we're going to start with our dry ingredients. In a large bowl, you will need 1 1/4 cups, which is 165 grams of all-purpose flour. You may know that as plain flour. And to that, I'm going to add 1/4 cup, 30 grams of ground almonds. Now you can buy ground almonds in the grocery store or a health food store, or you could just make them at home by taking 1/4 cup, 30 grams of blanched almonds and then just process them in your food processor until finely ground. But watch carefully, you don't want them to become a paste. And if you absolutely do not want to use ground almonds, you could replace that with just a 1/4 cup, 30 grams of all-purpose flour. But I really like ground almonds because they add a nice texture to the cake, and then of course a really nice, not strong, but a subtle almond flavor. And then you will need 1 teaspoon, 4 grams of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon, 2 grams of baking soda, and then 1/2 teaspoon, 2 grams of salt. I like to use a kosher salt because I find it's a little milder tasting than your table salt, but really you could use either one here. And then what I like to do, I like to flavor my cake with some lemon zest. You could use lime zest, you could use orange zest, or if you don't even want that, you can just leave it out. But I'm just using 1 large, or I guess that's medium-sized lemon. Make sure you wash your lemons first, and if you can, buy organic. And then I'm just using one of these microplanes. You could use your box grater for this. Now when you're taking off the zest, you just want to grate the yellow part, the skin. You don't want to get underneath this white because that's quite bitter tasting. Okay. Makes quick work of it. And then I'm just going to use a wire whisk. You just use your spatula to mix everything together. Okay, simple enough. So another, get some flour in there. Another large bowl, you will need 2 large eggs, and have your eggs at room temperature. And 2 large eggs weigh about 100 grams out of the shell. So you want to do it that way. And I'm just going to whisk them to break them up. And then to that, yogurt cake, you need yogurt. So I'm going to add 3/4 cup, which is 180 mils, 180 grams of, I'm using a plain full-fat whole yogurt. Actually, I'm using a Greek yogurt here. You could use a flavored yogurt. If you don't want to use yogurt, you could use sour cream. Make it a sour cream cake. But we're going to use yogurt here. And you know, this adds such, nice tang. Yogurt is like a little tangy. Plus moisture. It's going to make our cake wonderfully moist. And then we are going to add 1/2 cup, 120 milliliters, grams of a flavorless oil. So that could mean canola, corn, safflower, vegetable oil. I think you could even use a light olive oil here. And again, the oil, like the yogurt, is going to make this wonderfully moist. And the good part too, when you use oil instead of butter, is oil, you can put this cake in the refrigerator and it doesn't get, you know, if you have a butter cake and you put it in the refrigerator, the butter in the cake is going to harden, where with oil it doesn't. So you can just take it out of the fridge and serve it right away. I mean, it's a little cold, but it's still really nice and soft. And then for flavoring, I'm adding 1 teaspoon, 4 grams of pure vanilla extract. And then we need some sugar. 1 cup, 200 grams of granulated white sugar. And just whisk all that. Okay, simple enough. So now what I'm going to do is just kind of make a well in the center of my dry. Pour in my wet. This is such a great cake. You know, in the middle of the afternoon, you kind of think, oh, I want a dessert. Make this. I mean, no time at all. So now, I'm just going to mix it all together. Could you add something here? Yes, you could add some chopped nuts. You could, I think you could add chocolate chips. You could add even some berries. It's a great basic cake that you can do a lot with. Let's get this nice good stir. And then, so we are done. That didn't take long. My kind of cake. Okay. And actually, if you go to the joyabaking.com website, I've used almost the same batter for the plum coffee cake, and what I did was I put some plum halves on top of the batter here. So that's another idea of what you could do. Sprinkle, you know, put some plums or peaches or something like that. So, everyone's oven is a little different. I find probably between, say, 35 and 40 minutes, the cake will rise. It'll turn a beautiful golden brown. It'll just start to shrink from the sides of the pan. Toothpick inserted into the center will come out clean. I do like to rotate my cake pan front to back around about halfway through baking time. Always, because, you know, everyone's oven's a little different. You know, check your cake. Don't like just walk away for 40 minutes. Check your cake, you know, maybe 35, maybe a little earlier than that, just to, you know, keep an eye and judge the time. But somewhere between 35 and 40 minutes. Okay, so our yogurt cake is ready. Put your pan on a wire rack. As you can see, beautiful golden brown. It's just starting to come away from the edges, and when I put my skewer in the center, it did come out clean. So now, I'm just gonna let it cool for maybe 10 minutes in the pan, and then I'm going to release the sides, and when we come back, we will try a piece. To release the sides of the pan, what I first do is take an offset spatula, you can take a knife, and just run it around the inside. You want to make sure that the cake is not sticking to the sides. And then just release the clamp, and it comes easily off. Now, you could leave, there's a bottom plate. If you want, you can leave that on. It makes it easy to pick up. But if you want to take it off, then I'm going to flip this over. And then take the peel off my parchment. So, and then if you have a serving plate, just flip like so. And there you have it, our yogurt cake. Now, if you want, you could decorate it with like some powdered sugar. you know, I kind of think this is like a snacking cake. It's very good on its own. That's typically how I eat it. So let's cut a slice. Oh, doesn't it? Nice and fluffy, and it's so moist. So like I said, you could serve it on its own, or what I often do, especially in the summer, or actually any time, is you could, if you have fresh fruits, some berries, or slices of peaches or pears or something like that, you could serve it with that. Or I've got here just some fresh strawberry sauce. Just take some fresh strawberries, puree them, add a little sugar to taste, and then whipped cream. Always good with some whipped cream. Or creme fraiche, or you could also with more yogurt. So I think that looks really pretty. And you know, could you use this as a layer cake? Yes, you could, you know, double the recipe, make 2, and then sandwich them together. It is a very flavorful cake, and it's, I mean, really nice and soft and moist. That yogurt and also the oil, it makes it really nice and soft and moist. And then you have a little bit of the zest from, you know, the lemon, and then vanilla, and then the almonds give it a little bit of texture, which I like. And then, of course, there's a slight tang from that yogurt. A really flavorful cake that you can just eat on its own, or like dress it up, have fun with it. And until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of JoyBaking.com.